And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. State Senator Joe Griffo, 47th Senatorial District, is with us as our guest. And before we go any farther, you've got an event that you're sponsoring, I believe, October 20th?
Yeah, we've traditionally, over the last several years, sponsored a recycling event. It's very important from an environmental perspective for helping people in their homes to get rid of equipment safely. So it's electronics, it's paper, shredding, it's medicine that you want to get rid of, shred the meds, so Confidata will be there, along with it's at the Herkimer Oneida Solid Waste Management Facilities on Leland Ave from 9:30 to 1:30. We want to thank them for their partnership. They do a great job in trying to make people aware and undertake this responsibility. The Sheriff's Department will be there to handle the meds, and I'm not sure what else we may add to that, but a big event every year. It's become more and more difficult because many of the companies who have been involved in the past don't find it financially feasible for them to engage in this, and yet their need exists, as I said, to get rid of electronics particularly, but also paper that you may have that needs to be shredded because of confidentiality.
You used to do this same event at New Hartford Shopping Center, yes?
Absolutely. We did it twice. We were doing it in the eastern end of the county in New Hartford and in Rome in spring and fall. We had to bring that down to one time a year last year, and this year some of the companies that were working with us said they weren't able to make it happen financially, so as a result of that we were successful in working with the Oneida Herkimer Solid Waste Authority. Appreciate their efforts. So we'll see how this goes on that day, but hopefully people will participate and take advantage of it.
I knew you had it at the New Hartford Shopping Center because I was trying to go through New Hartford that day and there was a traffic jam. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we had a lot of people take it. We worked with New Hartford Police Department. We did run into a few problems, but they were fantastic in trying to correct them, and people were really good about it. I know there were a few people that weren't happy, but overall people understood and participated, and it really went well, and it was for a good cause.
2020, we have a census coming up, and that's going to have an impact on our congressional districts, yes?
We'll have an impact on congressional districts. Unfortunately, we continue to see an outward migration here in the state of New York, and that's why I think the economy should be our #1 concern as we approach the new year. Still, I mean, we're seeing improvement nationally, but we need to do more here in New York State. So I think we're going to lose congressional members here in New York again. It also will have an impact on redistricting of the Senate and Assembly boundaries. So look, Joe, I think it's easy, and we should be able to get this, but I think it's going to go in a different direction depending upon what happens this fall in New York State politics. We need to reduce taxes across the board here in New York State. We need to deregulate. We need to ease the burden that we place on our businesses with regulations right now. We need to lift the mandates on local governments and school districts. And we can do that through a process where we evaluate them and get rid of the things that are really problematic that don't need to be there. And we need to fund those in the future. When we do impose a mandate, there should be funding commensurate with that mandate. And finally, we need to get a handle on energy costs, because people can't afford to pay the cost they're paying right now in energy. So if we can do that, whoever is in office, if they work together, the executive and the legislature, we can make the state competitive again, to recruit, retain businesses, but most importantly, to make it affordable for people like you and your family and mine to live here in New York State.
It almost sounds kind of Trumpish to me.
Well, it sounds like a policy that needs to happen because people need to be able to afford to live in their community. And if you look at the cost right now, the statistics are not liars. People are leaving the state of New York, and it's not the weather, as the governor has indicated. I mean, some people may want to seek warmer climes. I understand that. But in this particular instant, the taxes are killing people, and we need to do a better job. Now, we've made some progress. We have a property tax cap, but we need to go further, and we need to make dramatic changes. Now that will require a reevaluation of the delivery of many of the services and programs associated with that. It doesn't mean you have to eliminate things, but you need to find better ways to do it. And similarly with regulations, if we put together a true commission that can review these things and lift them where we can, and as I said, with mandates, fund them in the future, that makes a big difference, and the state becomes very attractive. We lived within a 2% spending cap in New York State for the last 8 years, and that is a credit to the administration and the legislature working together. So, and that's saved billions of dollars just by living within a 2% growth.
Where do we stand with these throughway signs? Those have been in the news lately, and it's New York State, the governor versus the federal government. Where do we stand?
Look, I think I understand the idea to promote tourism, very important, but it's in violation of federal law. I don't believe the federal law is a great law, but you still have to comply with the law. And the governor can't thumb his nose at that. They have reached an agreement. I believe many of them are coming down, and I think rightly so, because a $14 million loss in revenue was not something, it's maybe a drop in the bucket in a $170 billion budget, but you can't afford to do those kind of things. First of all, you need to comply with the law, work to change it if you don't like it, and then secondly, make sure that we are being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars.
We don't have too much time left, so we can't go on about it too much, but the governor, speaking of the governor, he's done something now where parolees can vote. How is that all?
I think it's more political posturing than it is good policy, and basically what he's done is pardoned 35,000 people, and that's not right to give them voting rights. Now, they all have a path to vote again, so I'm not saying that we shouldn't find a way to bring people back into integrate them into society, but they have to fulfill the terms and conditions of their sentence. And what he did is to basically commute that and say, well, you're out of prison, but you still have terms and conditions, but don't worry about it now, you can just go vote. And voting is a privilege, and as I said, as long as there's a path for those who have been convicted of a felony in the future, once they complete and fulfill the terms and conditions of their sentence, then that's fine. But he's trying to say, forget that now, and you're out, let's just let you vote. And I think that's more about politics than it is about policy.
We've only got about a minute left. Marcy Nano.
Well, EDGE and Empire State Development Corporation continue to work aggressively. The money remains in the budget earmarked for development and economic incentives in that package. And hopefully they've got a number of contacts, and I'm hopeful that something will come as a result of that.
Your goals for the new session?
Economic development, public health. I think we need to do more to recruit and retain doctors in this area and healthcare professionals. You know, there's a severe shortage, nothing more important than taking care of people's health. The other thing I want to focus on is distracted driving. Too many people are getting killed for no reason. Technology is good, but now it's causing problems and innocent people are losing their lives. But the priority again is the economy. We need to do things different to create opportunity and to lower that burden, tax burden on the people that live in the state.
Come back and see us maybe during the session, or maybe we can come down and see you.
You should come to Albany. I'd love to have you there, Joe.
Okay, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget cnyhomepage.com, talking about technology. Lots of good stuff there. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.